Salutation!
Salutations!
Welcome back, everybody. Today I wanted to share 9 things that I love about Dragon's Dogma 1, the original, not Dark Arisen. They're just small little things. 9 things that I think are better than Dragon's Dogma 2 that I really hope that they add back into Dragon's Dogma 2 with the new DLC or future patches or something. If they don't, it's okay, but they're just things that I noticed that kind of bothered me a little bit. So here they are. Thing 1 is that when you get grabbed by an enemy like a Cyclops, or if you get dragged away by wolves or something like that, grappled, then you could shake the control stick and it would show you a prompt with like a bar that would fill up that would show you how far you were away from getting free of the grapple. In Dragon's Dogma 2, there's nothing like that. It doesn't show you when you get grappled if you're getting away or not. And it says I think it says you can expend stamina in the tutorial, but I haven't actually experienced getting free from a grapple. Like whenever I get taken away by wolves, I'm moving the sticks, I'm pressing buttons, I'm trying to do stuff, and I haven't had success. So, maybe there is a way and it just doesn't show you. And that was one of the first things I noticed is why can't I get free from these wolves? Of course I gotta call my pawns to help me. But if I'm playing with one other pawn, like I'm doing a run right now with just me and my pawn, and I get grabbed, it takes her ages to come help me. I'm laying there getting eaten by these wolves for 15, 20 seconds until finally she comes to my aid. Why are you idling? I'm calling you for help. That's one thing. The second thing is that when you walk over an item, or even if you open a chest, you don't automatically pick up the item in the chest in Dragon's Dogma 1. It shows you what the item is on your screen, and then you can pick it up if you want it or not. So it'll tell you what it is before you pick it up. And it's a small thing, but I love knowing what I'm gonna get. The other thing about that, it's kind of like an extension of that little point, is that the gold would fall out of the enemies somewhat comically, a little coin pouch with coins spilling out of it in Dragon's Dogma 1 would fall out and you could see it on the ground. Oh, there's a small coin pouch, I'll pick that up. But that doesn't happen in Dragon's Dogma 2. It's just actual enemy's dead body itself glowing. You go over it and you pick it up and you're like, oh, dang it. It's not gold, it's another goblin horn or something. So the third thing is that in Dragon's Dogma 1, you could change the height of your pawn and Arisen, and it would give you access to places that you couldn't go otherwise. If you made yourself really small like a dwarf, then you could actually go inside areas that you couldn't otherwise go into and open a chest or something. There were only a few areas like this in DD1, so I don't think it was extremely useful in terms of accessing hidden areas. You could go into the goblin caves, I remember that. Sometimes they would spring out of the ground and only goblin-sized creatures could fit down there, and usually there was a chest or some items down there. But there weren't a lot of places where that would give you an advantage. And of course, if you made yourself taller, then you could reach taller things, or if you went into water, you could wade deeper into the water without getting wet. So that was one thing I loved, and they still have sliders. Sliders. Anyone watch that show? They still have sliders for the height, but it doesn't have much gameplay impact. The number 4, of course, is more enemy variety. In Dragon's Dogma 2, it's mostly goblins. That's the main enemy you're going to encounter is goblins. In Dragon's Dogma 1, I feel like it was brigands and thieves. Bandits were all over the place. There were so many human bandits. There were goblins, but not as many as Dragon's Dogma 2. So, of course, we need more enemy variety. I think everyone agrees with that. That's why there are awesome mods that Murikasartis has made and others. Yeah, we need more variety. Please bring it, Capcom. Bring a swath of enemies, release little patches and increase the variety and stuff. That's something that everybody wants. And on top of that, in Dragon's Dogma 1, you could only damage the phantoms with magical attacks. And in Dragon's Dogma 2, I found that that's not the case, which is a little disappointing. I was surprised to learn that I could just attack the phantoms with my blade. Maybe there's a lore reason behind that. It's hundreds of years after the fact, so who knows. But number 5, does anyone else miss the double jump? I know it's cheesy. I know it's a small thing. It doesn't really matter that much because of all the other movement abilities you get, like the concussive step that you get with the thief vocation. That kind of gives you a double jump, but it's not as quick, you know. The cool thing is it gives you directionality. That's what I love about the concussive step. You can jump, use concussive step, and change direction. It's so cool. I love that. Anyway, but I missed the double jump. I missed the double jump so much because it just gives you that much more height to get to another place. And I feel like concussive step doesn't give you as much height as the double jump used to. Now, the other thing, number 6, is that the boss battles were tough as nails. Like, I'm level 31. I'm playing through Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen again, just to refresh myself on the game and perhaps to make it further than I ever made it before. I'm level 31 and I just got to the Witchwood. Spoilers for Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen. If you haven't played it by now, come on guys, come on. I just got to the part in the Witchwood where you go back to save Celine from the angry mob and you have to fight the stone golem for the first time. And it was like, I'm level 31. I was like, oh, I got this, you know. Level 31 in Dragon's Dogma is like, I can knock around stone golems like nothing. No, it took me like 20 minutes. It took me like 20 minutes to beat the stone golem, and he ended up grabbing one of the pawns and like sucking its life force out. So he got a second phase, you know. That's the worst. I couldn't get him out of his hand in time. It was really tough, and I kind of missed that. You know, I felt very accomplished when I beat that. And then of course you get to the Witchwood and there's the golden stone golem. If you go back in, some other stone golems, but I was like, I'm not ready for that. But yeah, I missed the boss battles being extremely difficult. Early game when you're like level 20, level 30, fighting the drakes is pretty challenging. You know, you get knocked out quite a few times in Dragon's Dogma 2, but it doesn't feel as difficult, and I really hope they add that hard mode. We're all hoping for the hard mode. Now, number 7 is the knowledge chair. In Dragon's Dogma 1, I loved that there was an in-game way to engage and speak with your pawn. You sit them down in the knowledge chair, and you can alter their inclination merely by having a conversation with them, like, hey, I want you to do this for me, I want you to act this way, and you answer a series of questions, and that determines how the pawn is going to act and what their inclination is. That was a really fun, special way to do it because it felt like it was real. You know, it was way more immersive than like buying the pawn inclination incense and then just giving it to your pawn. I mean, it's much easier that way. It's much more straightforward, but it felt a lot less immersive. I hope they bring the knowledge chair back. I doubt they will, but they definitely have the opportunity to do that with all the tables and everything everywhere. I don't think it would be a difficult task. Now, number 8 is the notice board. A lot of the notice board quests were just like fetch quests, but it also gave you the opportunity to, as you're going through the world, you know, you kill the rabbits, hear their horrific screams. But you could kill rabbits, you could kill saurians. You're like, oh, I want to kill 10 saurians. I'm going to do this anyway. So might as well pick up that notice board quest, go out adventuring, and then I'm going to complete these and get additional experience, additional gold, just by virtue of playing the game. That was what I loved about them. I didn't like the escort quests. I've always hated escort quests, but yeah, the escort quests are awful. I avoid those as much as I can, so I might have missed some content in Dragon's Dogma 1 by not doing those. I want those notice boards back. I want those little grindy quests back just for funsies, and the possibility is maybe they'll be in Norgem. You know, maybe there'll be a notice board in Norgem and they'll bring that back. Now, the final and 9th little thing that I loved about Dragon's Dogma 1 is that the lore felt a little more fleshed out in terms of the side quests. One that comes to my mind immediately because I just finished it is the Witchwood return, like the saving Celine. You encounter Celine in the Witchwood, you go to her, you find out she's like a witch deep in the middle of the woods, and you don't know much about her. She says all kinds of cryptic things, and then if you help her, then later there are some guardsmen in Grand Soren who are ready to go and kill the witch, you know, burn the witch, going on a witch hunt. You can go there, and if you make it in time, you see that she's not there, you get attacked by a golem, you gotta fight it. You find her deep in the Witchwood. She's at the grave of a previous Arisen, and that Arisen, the spirit of the Arisen, is there standing talking to Celine. And it's revealed that Celine was a pawn who has actually been given, by the impartation of the Arisen, given their own will. So, you know, it sets the groundwork for the fact that pawns are like these human-like beings who don't have a will of their own, but there is a possibility for them to obtain that. And it was a very deep lore thing in a side quest that's completely missable. There are a couple quests like that in Dragon's Dogma 2, and it might be by virtue of the fact that Dragon's Dogma 2 is literally built on the bones of the previous game. I mean, spoilers for Dragon's Dogma 2. If you haven't played it by now, what are you doing? Stop watching this video, go play Dragon's Dogma 2. But Dragon's Dogma 1 is underneath Dragon's Dogma 2, literally and figuratively. Like, all the lore is just continuing to be built up. I hate when people call DD2 a remake, because it's not a remake. It's a continuation of the original game, but I really wish they went a little deeper with the lore. Like, the main story reveals a lot of lore stuff, and the side quests are, a little bit, but not quite as deep as I felt they were in Dragon's Dogma 1. So those are 9 small things that I feel Dragon's Dogma 1 does better than Dragon's Dogma 2. Well, I'm gonna get back to it. I'm gonna keep playing Dark Arisen, try to beat it before the Dark Arisen 2 DLC comes out so that I can have it fresh in my mind. So thanks for watching. Be kind to one another, go play a good game, and delight in the joy of dungeon crawling. I'll see you next time.